All right, let's say a student has to add 11 over 24 plus, I don't know, 7 over 60. Student would have to find a common denominator for 24 and 60. There's ways to do this, but all of the ways to do this that I know of take a very, very long time, and it becomes increasingly difficult if we're working with special needs students. So there's a method that I call the L method that can work to help the student not only find the common denominator, but also rewrite the numerators appropriately. What the student would need to do is choose a number that goes into both 24 and 60, a common factor, any common factor. Most students would recognize that these are even numbers, so they would choose the number 2. 2 goes into 24 12 times, 2 goes into 60 30 times. Well, we have 12 and 30, which again still have a common factor, and again that common factor, or one of the common factors, is 2. 2 goes into 12 6 times, 2 goes into 30 15 times. And again, the student could see that 6 and 15 both have 3 as a factor. 3 goes into 6 twice, 3 goes into 15 5 times. In order to get the common denominator, the student makes an L shape and multiplies along the L. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24, 24 times 5 is 120. There's our common denominator. In order to get the numerators, the student does the following. You take the last 2 factors and you kind of cross multiply this way. 5 times 11 is 55. 2 times 7 is 14. 55 plus 14 is 69. And there's the solution for that problem. So we're going to go through that again. But just to recap, basically the student keeps dividing the denominators until we get to a point where the denominators have nothing in common. We multiply along the L to get our common denominator, and then we cross multiply here and here to get the numerators, and we simply do the math, and we would simplify if necessary. And in this case, it looks like both of these are divisible by 3. This becomes 23 over 40. Let's do that one more time. Okay, so let's say the student has to add 7 over 18 plus, I don't know, 5, or let's choose a number that won't divide evenly, 11 over 20. So we find a common factor, any common factor the student can think of. So the first thing that comes to mind is 2. 2 goes into 18 9 times, 2 goes into 20 10 times. Now in this case, the L is unnecessary because 9 and 10 only have 1 as a common factor. In this case, the student would multiply straight across. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 times 10 is 180. There's our common denominator, and again the student would cross here and cross here. 9 times 11 is 99. 10 times 7 is 70. The student would add. We would get 169 over 180. And it doesn't appear that this will simplify at all. So again, any student could use this method to quickly find not only a common denominator, but also the numerators, and finally the sum or the difference of a fraction. Hopefully this helps and you can begin using it with your students who don't understand the traditional algorithm.